Now, let's talk about Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, who's slammed the woke madness that's overtaken much of the West and its institutions. Have a listen to this 60 seconds of wisdom.
In the West, they got a movement called wokeness, where you are super sensitive about other people's issues and you become hypersensitive when other people somehow or other say things or mention things or refer to you without the respect which you or your super subgroup feel you are entitled to. It leads to very extreme attitudes and social norms, particularly in some academic institutions, universities. You talk about safe spaces, you talk about appropriate pronouns, you talk about I'm about to say something which may be offensive to you. If you don't want to hear it, perhaps you'd like to leave now. And life becomes very burdensome. And I don't think we want to go in that direction. It does not make us a more resilient, cohesive society with a strong sense of solidarity. We must be more robust.
Hallelujah. Gabby, can we elect him Prime Minister here, please?
Please.
Pesky Section 44 of the Constitution. But it makes so much sense.
But he's completely right. You know, even just on this show, what we've discussed already, look at what's happening in Scotland, in the UK, where they're all going crazy over these hate speech laws. We're seeing this teacher that has been sacked for promoting critical thinking. Like, that is when the woke just gets absolutely too crazy. And he's completely right. Look at us as a society. We're so much stronger when we're in solidarity with one another.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say,
Cameron,
Rita,
what I liked what he said was about resilience. Sorry to interrupt you there, but what he talked about, all these sort of ideologies are not bringing us together. They're just making us more fragile and fractured, and there's no resilience with so many youngsters these days.
I mean, it's so true, and I just wish we had that type of common sense here. It makes me miss Singapore even more. It's my homeland, but it's also part of the reason, which I've spoken about before, this rejection over there of wokeism, of political correctness, and of refusal to pander to cultural Marxists is part of the reason why Singapore consistently ranks among the top countries in education, if not at the very top. Meanwhile, in Australia, where teachers are encouraging students to go and march for climate change and for pro-Palestine, our students are ranking below that, you know, academic superpower Kazakhstan in our school rankings. And this is why, because they actually focus on what's important for young people, and that's getting a good education, family values, not allowing these types of trivial things to divide us as a society. And that's why it works, and it's been such a successful society.
I forgot, you are Singapore born and raised, aren't you? So you know that country better than most. I've been there a couple of times, love it because everything just seems to work properly and it's so safe. You have shops where the doors don't even lock. They've got a rope they put across the front door, which is open, and that's how they leave it at night. It's incredible just how low the crime rate is in Singapore, and it's because, well, if you break the law there, Caroline, all sorts of ramifications, and some of them we don't embrace in the civilised West, like canings.
Yes, and capital punishment. But it is one of the reasons that they have a zero-tolerance approach to drugs, and there is extremely low levels of violent crime. And I think our justice system could learn a thing or two from Singapore.
Yeah, and I think listening to the Singapore Prime Minister there is so much that we could learn, because the sad thing is that the people on the far left don't seem to understand is that everyone, it really wants the same thing. We all want to be treated equally, but people on the far left just can't handle conservative voices. They're promoting cancel culture and they get caught up in things that really don't matter. So look, I think the Singapore Prime Minister spoke very well just then. Would love to have him as our Prime Minister here in Australia.
He may not be used to having, in fairness, he may not be used to having people like ourselves criticise the government. That's not tolerated so well in Singapore, but many other aspects of life are superior.
It is, and I disagree, Gabby. I don't reckon the far left want equal treatment. I think they want special treatment for those who they deem to be special, which is them, and everyone else can deal with whatever's left.
Yeah.